Do you remember when AI was just a chat box that you would have to constantly prompt and spend hours tweaking around to get the results that you want? Well, those days are completely gone, as we are currently entering a new stage of AI, which are AI agents. What are AI agents? Well, it's literally like hiring and training AI employees that can help you save time, work less, and make more money in your business by automating tasks and entire workflows across the internet. Picture this. You set up an AI agent once, show it your entire process, and it takes over the entire workflow. No more constant back and forth prompting and tweaking around just to set up basic automations. The crazy thing though is that these new AI agents that we can set up can find, read, and update your documents, they can browse the web, and they can make smart decisions by understanding your business through knowledge bases as well as prompting themselves further. They also work across all of your favorite apps on the internet, and they can interact with each other exactly like human assistants would. Think of automation giants like Zapier and Make combined with the power of large language models like Claude and ChatGPT. But the best part about all of this is that you do not need any technical experience whatsoever to start building them. You will not need to write or even see a single line of code throughout the whole process. So in this video, let me share with you this new platform that I discovered that not many people are talking about yet, so that you can start building out an entire AI agent team to automate your entire business and replace all of your employees. I'm just joking, or am I? So the tool that I just discovered and I want to share with you today is called Lindy. They've been around for some time, but a few months ago they had a major update and they added something they call the Flow Builder. This made building complex automation an absolute breeze, and it added a lot more functionality to the platform, making it one of my favorite automation tools today. Let's take a look at the platform, see how it works, what makes it different, and I also want to share with you a few agents I built for myself that are saving me countless hours every single week. So as soon as you sign up and log into Lindy, this is what it's gonna look like. Basically here on the left we have all our Lindys, which will be all of our automations and workflows. Now they have a lot of templates on here that you can use to speed up your process. So if there's any specific use case in here, you can just click and customize it and it will be running your functionality. So we just started a new Lindy from scratch. The way that Lindys work is that we have triggers, we have actions, knowledge bases, conditions, and AI agents. All of these things work together and use AI to carry out your automations. So the cool thing about Lindy is that all of the steps that we make, Lindy can actually reference them within any point of our workflow. So it can take context from the previous steps to complete the tasks that it needs. So everything on Lindy starts with a trigger. A trigger can be a lot of things. It can be the chat of Lindy itself, because you can use Lindys by themselves. You don't necessarily need to link them to other apps, but it can be any other thing. It can be an email received. It can be a Google Calendar event created. It can be a Slack message received, a Telegram message received, a new record in the Notion, whatever you want. It even has webhooks. So if you want to set up like API automations, it's also there. I'm just gonna choose Slack message received. Here we also have filters, so you could actually filter the messages to make sure Lindy doesn't get spammed and you don't just waste your credits. So next up, in this part of the process, you usually set up conditions. So what are conditions? I mean, this part is usually a little bit complicated in other automation tools because tone it in to get it right. But Lindy, you literally just explain in plain English here on the right what you wanted to do if certain things happen, right? So for example, go down this path if the message is about calendar management, right? That's one condition. And then we can add another condition. Let's say messages about, I don't know, let's say research. So now we have two conditions, and what the conditions are is basically Lindy will use AI to detect what's in this message to determine whether or not it falls under any of these conditions. And then we can attach steps, knowledge bases, or AI agents to our conditions. I removed the other condition to make it less cluttered, but now we just have this one. So the message is about calendar management, and let's add, for example, an action step here. Here you can use any of the action steps from here. There's actually even more from here. This is just like a few that it shows, but let's say we wanted to do, we can get it to message on Slack. We can get it to create or reference or go to a Google Doc or go to a Google Drive folder or go to a Google Sheet. Like there's a lot of actions that you can go through here. We'll go through some of the examples later on, but honestly, it's pretty crazy. Like the amount of integrations and the amount of different apps that you can have interacting together through this automation tool is pretty damn awesome. So I'm just gonna add like a random action. Let's say I'm gonna create like a an email and I'm gonna make like create a draft. So let's say I'm gonna just add a random action like a draft email. The other action is the knowledge base. So here you can actually upload any kind of knowledge that you want Lindy to be able to reference. You can upload files directly, you can text, website. One cool one you can do is like a Notion page. So as you update it, Lindy will also have access to that updated data. Google Drive, there's a lot of options here. And then the other thing that I want to show you, the last one is AI agents. This is pretty damn powerful. You literally tell them what you want them to do and they'll carry out that job until basically the exit condition is met, which is literally you telling the AI agent like when to stop working. So for example, if you tell it to write a blog article, you'll tell it to exit once the blog article is finished. AI agents, once again, you can select different models, you can prompt it, telling exactly what it's going to do. And you can even ask it for confirmations. But the special thing about the AI agents is this little tab here, which is skills. So the skills is actually all of the different actions that I showed you before. The agents have access to them. So the agents can actually go and use these actions if they deem it necessary. Every time you launch an automation through an AI agent, it's not going to go through and use all the actions. It will only use them if it makes sense contextually. Some of the ones I like to use is extract web page, so you can search the internet and it can extract web page text. The other ones I like is the doc ones. It can create Google Docs, find Google Docs and update them. And another really powerful one that I've been loving is the calendar. So you can actually like interact with your calendar, create events, all of that good stuff. So I hope you're starting to see how powerful this tool is, because at no points within these automations we had to see any code or we had to do anything relatively complicated. Everything here is in plain English. So now let's take a look at the agents that I've already built that are saving me countless hours every week. The first agent that I built, and it's one of my favorite ones, is the email assistant. So while it might look complicated if you've never used this tool before, this is super straightforward. It's basically like an AI virtual assistant that labels your emails, drafts responses, and sends you like a direct message if it's an urgent email. So as we remember, first thing we have is the trigger that triggers our automation. Here it's linked to my Gmail. Once I receive an email, it goes through the condition. So if the first condition, if it's a high priority email, you go down this route. If it's about sponsorships, down this route. If it's about a newsletter, etc., down these routes. Super cool, because the first one I have is an urgent email, right? I literally just told Indy, if it seems like a high priority email, please label it as important, right? Super simple. I didn't even fill in anything here. It's like AI automatically fills it. How cool is that? Like it's able to take the context from this previous step and know how to label it, right? Anyways, and it doesn't just label it, it also sends me a direct message on Slack that I have an urgent email from who, what's the email subject and the body. And this was also very simple to set up, right? We're literally just using plain English. So you've got a message from, and then we can have this little tab here so we can select context from the email. So from, regarding, subject, which is the email subject. And then here we have the body. That's it. But this next part is actually my favorite. I found it from Twitter. So this one filters my sponsorship requests. Because of the nature of my channel, I get like 1 to 2 sponsorship emails per day and don't have time to go through all of them, right? So what I have here is that, first of all, once again, we have a condition here that it's a sponsorship request. AI detects that, it labels the email that it's a sponsorship request, and it goes down to the second condition. What is the second condition? Well, it determines whether the sponsorship is paid or whether it's not paid. So what we have next is a browser automation that basically extracts the domain from the email, visits it, and researches about the service. Pretty cool, right? And then it uses that information to draft a response. So it will draft an email response, making it feel personalized, like it's done its research, using the research from the previous step, and it will request additional information only if it's like not already been mentioned, like content ideas, what kind of content they're looking for, their budget, and the timeline of their campaign. If the email is not paid, it will draft an email telling them that, sorry, I don't do free videos. However, maybe I'll mention them in one of my no-code list videos, right? And the rest of automations is just more labels. So once you like set up your automations and you want to test them, or you want to see like whether they're working or not, you can go to the tasks tab and see all of the automations that have been carried out, or even like start chatting to Lindy to start the automation. So let me show you actually this email that I already sent to myself, and Lindy picked it up within less than a minute. I sent this email. It's like asking for basically partnership with bubble.io. And then Lindy itself detected that it contains a sponsorship or collaboration request. It labeled it as sponsorship request. Then once again, went down the conditions, saw that it's paid, and did its own research, did the web search action, and it drafted a response email. As you can see here, it used the previous context of the email, it used the name, it used the Bubble name, it saw the recent updates and what Bubble is up to. As you could see, it included some context, and it asked for the parts that were not mentioned. Like, it asked for all the context that I needed. And now if I go to my Gmail account, I will see a draft there. I can approve it or I can edit it before sending it out. I don't even need to have it as a draft. I could actually have it emailed directly, saving me even more time, but I like to see the drafts before sending them out. Now, that's just one of my AIs. This is the second one that I really like as well. This one, very simple as well. I have a Slack channel set up where every time the message is received, it goes through the condition. If the message is about AI and no-code news, it will go to the Google page that's about no-code news. It will scan all of them. Then it will do the same for AI. And we'll put them into a Google document. And here I just told it that they all must have names to them. The cool thing here is that I don't even give it a link to the Google Doc, right? I literally just tell it the name to the Google Doc and it's able to find it. I find that pretty damn cool. Once that's done, it goes to my AI agent, which goes over this Google Doc, this Google Doc skill. Once again, no link included. And it goes through all of this news that are on there, makes sure there's no duplicates, and sends me a message. Now, instead of having an agent, I could have it just message me with all this news, but there's not that many news happening in the AI no-code space every day. So I prefer having an agent that goes over them and only sends me the fresh things. As you see here, sends me a Slack message, right? This automation can be triggered two ways. It's like I have it on a recurring schedule every day at 9 a.m. or once the message is received. Now, the second part is like absolutely crazy. I just love this. Here I have literally an EA that can manage my calendar, right? So I have an EA agent that's prompted to be my EA, executive assistant, who manages the calendar, helps me to organize my schedule, meetings, etc. And it has access to my calendar, can do everything that it wants to it. I'm just gonna be like, hey, what does my calendar look like on Friday? We could see it working if you go to the tasks tab, boom, condition met, checks the events, and then boom, sends me the message back on Slack with the updates. Pretty crazy, right? Now I can tell it, remove the family gathering and add a meeting with Daniel. And so it's pretty crazy, right? I can tell it now to like go through and add another meeting and stuff like that. But now let's make it even cooler, right? What I'm gonna do is add another condition where it's gonna be if I ask to book as an appointment, we have another condition, and I'm gonna add a knowledge base here. I'm not gonna add any files here. So what I'm gonna do is add some manual stuff in here. So I'm gonna, let's say, add Daniel, and then I'm gonna add an email, for example, daniel@test.com. Boom, we have that here. So the reason I did that is, for example, if you have a large database, you don't want it to go through the database every time, right? So maybe even doesn't even do that. Maybe it's smart enough not to do that. But anyways, I just set it up in a way that if I ask it to book an appointment with someone, it will go through the database and then it will go to the AI. So now we can tell it book an appointment with Daniel at 12 p.m. for 1 hour and send him an invite via email. As you could see, it found the email from the knowledge base, scheduled a meeting, and added it to the calendar, and as well as sending an invitation. The other one I have is the research GPT. So for this one, I sent it a message with name of the article that I want written, a YouTube link, a relevant video, a web page, relevant blog post, and a Google Doc with the video script on the topic that I already did. So what it does, it extracts all of that information using the YouTube, the web scraping, and then the Google Docs functionality, skills, and then it passes that information to the copywriter who writes the blog post using all of that context given before. I sent it a YouTube video and an article. He went through, extracted all the text from the Google Doc, extracted a transcript from the YouTube video, went to the blog post, extracted information there, did additional research on the web, and wrote the blog article. The Google Doc that I wrote it did not have teal or dividend finance, so that was from its own research. So, and as you could see, it's beautifully formatted the way that I told it to. And then I want to show you my last one that I'm also using. This one is also awesome. Basically, I just send it a message, and then it detects from the message whether I want a blog post, tweets, or I want a newsletter. It uses the information that I provide to it, extracts the Google Doc, which is a video script that I send to it, and rewrites it to a blog post. Here I just have prompts that to tell it like how to write, keep paragraphs short, remove unnecessary context, and research, use web search if necessary. Basically, if it needs more context, it will use the internet by itself to find more information to write what it's needed. And then it creates a Google Doc and sends it back to me. But honestly, I'm just scratching the top of the surface here. Like, the things you can automate here are up to your imagination. Each one of these automations doesn't even take longer than 10 to 15 minutes to make. I hope you're seeing the power in this tool and why I'm so excited about it. If you need some inspiration and you want to like see what Lindy can automate, sign up. You get 400 free credits. After that, it's about $30 for 3,000 credits a month, which will get you pretty far. I don't know about you guys, but every day I'm more and more excited about the future of automation, because for those who learned how to use tools like this, your productivity is just going to keep going up and up and up. If you're still not sure what you want to automate and you want to get more inspiration, I recommend checking out Lindy's Twitter. They commonly like repost other people what they've been automating, as well as sharing the new automations that they build themselves. And you can also check out their YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, they're constantly sharing new automations that you can set up and use for your own business. The ones I showed you are quite simple. Like, there's some workflows that you can build that are pretty complicated. Like, one of the templates here is actually like a negotiating assistant. It will by itself use your knowledge base and negotiate sales for you for email. It's pretty cool. So if you want to get started with Lindy, click one of the links in the description, and I'll also leave their socials there so you can check it out and get inspired. I'll see you guys in the next video.